Hey guys, Pichu here, and I'm going to show you the 2002 Pichu London Cup Series roster. I decided to show you the roster for the 2002 season. I'm probably going to do it for every season from now on so that I can let you know what drivers will be using for the 2002 Pichu London Cup Series season. There will be some part-timers as well, road course ringers, some drivers that will run only super speedways, all that. So I wanted to give you guys a list of what drivers we'll be using for the 2002 Pichu London Cup Series season. So anyway, here is the roster. First, we have Steve Park in the number one car, as like as normal, as it was in 2002, I should say. Most of these drivers are in their rides as in they were in 2002, with some exceptions, and I'll tell you more about them in a little bit. Rusty Wallace is in the number two, just like in real life. Dale Earnhardt stays for another season. In this universe, Dale Earnhardt stays alive, and he doesn't have that tragic crash in 2001's Daytona 500. You saw him earlier. He actually won the race, believe it or not, and won two other races in 2001. We'll see how far he'll go in 2002 in the number three car. Mike Skinner is in the four car, by the way. I thought about putting another driver in the four car, but I decided to keep Mike Skinner in the four car. I guess Skinner took a year off last year and ran part-time last season and ran mostly Busch Series and Truck Series. But he's back in the Cup Series this year. Number five, Terry Labonte as normal. He'll be in the five car. Mark Martin will be in the six car. He'll be driving the number six car, just like in real life. Alan Kwiecki is still alive, and he'll run another season, the seven car. This is from 2001, but since I couldn't find a scheme that really reflects his 2002, what it would have been like, I should say, in 2002. Alan Kwiecki will stay with Hooters in the year 2002. Dale Earnhardt Jr., by the way, he'll run the 8 car as normal. Bill Elliott will run the number 9 car just like he did in 2002. Ryan Newman will stick with the '02 car for Autel and Penske. The 12 car, Tim Richmond's still riding it, and here he is right here in the 12 car with a brand new paint scheme. This is the main paint scheme that Tim Richmond will use while driving the number 12 car for Penske Racing. Johnny Benson will stay in the number 10 for MBV or MB2 Motorsports as it was known. He'll run in the number 10. Michael Waltrip stays in the 15 for all you fans out there, Mikey fans out there. He's still running in the 15. Matt Kenseth running in the 17 for Roush. Dale Jarrett running in the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. If you haven't seen my previous season recaps, Dale Jarrett stays in the 18 because Ernie Irvan never retired because he never had those crashes, those nearly career-ending crashes he had. That forced him to retire early on. So he never had those crashes. So Ernie Irvan is going to stay in the 88 for this season. Dale Jarrett stays in the 18 as a result. I'll tell you more where Bobby Labonte goes in just a moment. But in the 19 car, Casey Elliott goes into the 19 for 2002. He stays for another year for Everham. No word if he'll stay for 2003 though, but well, that's still being negotiated as we speak. Tony Stewart is in the 20 car as he is in 2002. Elliott Sadler stays in the 21 for the Wood Brothers. Ward Burton stays in the 22. Casey Atwood goes into the Cup Series and he'll be running the 23 car for Hendrick Motorsports. He'll be running with GMAC as its sponsor. He'll be running the 23 full time in the 2002 season. Jeff Gordon running the 24 car. You know him. He's back next season. 25, Ricky Craven will drive the 25 for Hendrick Motorsports in 2002. Jerry Nadeau, we'll get to him in a little bit. Davey Allison returns in the 28, and yes, I'm going to be using the Need for Speed car for his main scheme for 2002. In real life, the Roush Yates 28, no, the Robert Yates 28, I should say, ran with Haviline and was more yellow, and Ricky Rudd drove the 28 in real life. But Davey Allison's still alive, so he stays with the 28 for Robert Yates Racing. And again, Davey Allison and Alan Kwiecki never had those plane crashes that took their lives in the Pichu London Cup Series universe, so they're still racing on their respective teams. So Davey Allison will be in the 28 running for Need for Speed. This will be his main scheme for 2002. Even though the other scheme is different, the main one's different, I decided to run with this scheme for the 2002 season because I've always wanted to run with this scheme. And it fits more to Davy's old design with the red number 28 and the red Texaco logo. Well, it's on the top right instead of being front and center, but it's more reflective of the scheme he usually ran than what it is that they did in 2000. Kevin Harvick goes into the 30 car for AOL Broadband for Richard Childress. In real life, Jeff Green ran the 30, but Jeff Green was released in 2001 as he didn't do so well in performance and he was injured and was replaced by Kevin Harvick. Harvick did much better than Jeff Green, I should say. So Kevin Harvick will now run full-time in the 30 car for AOL. Dale Earnhardt never had those crashes, so he's in the 3, as I mentioned earlier, so that means Harvick would go in the 30. No need to bring that 29 back for the season. Robbie Gordon goes into the 31 in 2002 for RCR. That still happens in real life. And there's Jerry Nadeau running the 32 car for PPI Racing. If you didn't know already, some of these cars were from the One More Spark series that Griff Dog tried to do, but only got around to doing the 2001 season, although the cars he has released them for them to download for free. So I will leave links in the description below on where you can download these cars from so you can make up your own what if series with these cars if you wanted to, because that's what I'm doing for my series, because I'm a fan of his channel, I'm a fan of his series, and I'm just sad that he only got around to doing 2001, but I wanted to see for myself what it could have been like if we had those cars running in the series, if they were still alive and whatnot. So, Jerry Nadeau running, I know it says 2001 Kids' Choice Awards, but I've always wanted to run this a full season. So why not? Let's just pretend that that's the 2002 Kids' Choice Awards paint scheme. He'll be running full time. And he will run also the Invader Zim scheme on some races and another scheme, and I think that's Jimmy Neutron in some races, because that's as far as he got in terms of making schemes for the 32. And I'm not sure if Nickelodeon will be back next season at 32, by the way, in 2003, but we'll have to see. Ken Schrader is in the 36 car running for MB2 Racing, the 36 with M&M's. And Sterling Marlin still runs the 40 car for Chip Ganassi Racing. And Kenny Irwin Jr. actually is still alive in this universe, so he runs the 41 and targets a car for Chip Ganassi instead of Jimmy Spencer. Jimmy's going to move over into the Busch series and Truck series, I assume, if I'm able to do a series that far. And I'm probably going to do Busch and Truck series when I'm done with the Cup series. John Andretti will be in the 43 car. He stays for Richard Petty's team. Adam Petty goes in the 45 instead of Kyle Petty. Kyle steps out in favor of Adam Petty. Adam will be running full-time in the 45. And there's rookie Jimmy Johnson. This is his rookie year, and we're going to have Jimmy running the 48 car. Tim Steele used to run the 48 car, but in the middle of 2001, the team shut down, and it left Tim Steele without a ride, and he was not able to be picked up for 2002. And I think he has decided to go to other series instead of doing Cup series. He's decided to run other series. Let's just say he runs other series, mostly ARCA, instead of doing Cup series. Let's just say that happened. So Tim Steele is not here anymore, and he's moved on. Bobby Labonte, as I mentioned earlier, he didn't drive the 18 in 2002 because Dale Jarrett's still riding it. So he's still running with the James Finch team in the 51 car for Best Western. No word if they'll continue into 2003, but hopefully Labonte will have a ride by then, and the team will still be alive in some form. Bobby Hamilton running the 55 car for Andy Petrie's team. That still happens. And Jason Leffler goes full-time racing in the 81 for Joe Gibbs. They had another car to their entry, the 81, with MB&A to sponsor their car. I wanted to add Leffler in the full-time season, so going to give him a chance to win races. Rob Moroso still is active in the 82. The Moroso Rudd Racing team still goes on 2002. No word if they'll continue into 2003. Same for Ricky Rudd, the defending series champion, and he will use Tide Give Kids the World as his scheme for 2002. Can't wait to see this in action. And John Nemechek, his brother Joe Nemechek steps aside, and Joe is probably going to run Busch and Truck Series races also. And John Nemechek will run Cup Series. The younger John Nemechek running the Cup Series in the 87 car. Ernie Irvan is still active. He never had those crashes that ended his career prematurely. So Ernie Irvan's running the 88 for Robert Yates Racing. Kurt Busch is running the 97 for Roush Racing. Sorry about that. Jeremy Mayfield in the number 98. Cale Yarbo's team is still active in the number 98. So Jeremy Mayfield runs that car, and McDonald's will sponsor the 98 car for 2002. And finally, Jeff Burton's running the number 99 Roush Racing as he did in 2002. And there's actually more to show you in 2002. Some of them have alternate paint schemes. There's Dale Earnhardt running Reese's Fast Break in several races. And I'm going to show you more alternate schemes. There you see Valvoline will sponsor with Max Life. Another scheme will be running several races for Johnny Benson. Tim Richmond's running an all-red paint scheme in the number 12 for several races as well. And Jurassic Park 3 is with Dale Jarrett and Tony Stewart. That came out in 2001, but let's just pretend it came out in 2002 in this one, in this universe, because I wanted to run those schemes. Elliott Sadler running with U.S. Air Force in the number 21 in several races. And there you see some Looney Tunes schemes. Jeff Gordon running 24 Looney Tunes. That should have been saved, though, for... that should have been saved for the Looney Tunes races itself, but I'll probably change that. He'll probably run mostly the DuPont scheme or something, but I probably should have changed it to with Looney Tunes. Ricky Craven is still staying the same scheme, and there's the 32, well, 32 scheme in the same scheme. 36 running the 4th of July scheme and run several races. Original Coors version, the 40 car. That's a retro design that he made. That's great, and I'm going to run that for several schemes. John Andretti, he's going to run 43 Honey Nut Cheerios for several races as well. Bobby Hamilton with a Square D Lightning design. Romarosa with a Mountain Dew Southern 500 to sponsor him. There's the Tide Scheme 83. They'll run in several races. Kurt Busch running with JR Garage, Junior Garage, in the 97 in several races. And Jeff Burton running with MDA as its sponsor in several races as well. And Mark Warren running with the Pfizer 6 scheme in several races too. And let's show you the Looney Tunes schemes. There you see some of the drivers have Looney Tunes schemes. The 3 car was running with Tasmanian Devil. Terry Labonte is running with Roadrunner and Coyote. Let me get to others. Oh, by the way, the 10 car is another scheme, by the way, the fan scheme. Whatever that's called, or the fan scheme as it's called here. That'll be running the Looney Tunes race. That's in Richmond, by the way. And there you see Jeff Gordon. I showed you this earlier, but this is Jeff Gordon running with Bugs Bunny. Kevin Harvick is running with Daffy Duck. Robbie Gordon is running with Yosemite Sam. And 36 car running the 4th of July scheme of that race. Sterling Marling, the KISS scheme that he made, he's going to be running that in Richmond. Because why not? And is there any other Looney Tunes schemes I might be forgetting? No. That's all the Looney Tunes schemes in the list. Cool. And there's also going to be some road course ringers this season. I love doing adding road course ringers in 2001, so I've decided to add more road course ringers here in 2002. There's Dale Earnhardt's scheme for the road courses that'll be running with the Grinch paint scheme, the Grinch Oreos. For the 2002 road course races. There's one of the road course ringers, Ron Fellows, running the 00 Haas car. Aaron's Dream Machine will run with Ron Fellows in the vehicle in road course races. Eagle One will run the road course races in the number 10 car. And who else am I looking for? Other people. Invader Zim, by the way, is returning for road course races. So, yeah, Invader Zim is coming back to the 32 for the road courses. John Wayne is running in the 40 car. Sterling Marlin is running with John Wayne in the 40, I should say, the paint scheme. Scott Pruitt will run the 41 car in place of Kenny Irwin Jr. On the road course races. So Kenny Irwin Jr. will not run the road course races. Scott Pruitt will take his place in those races. And Boris Said will run the 42 for the special road courses as well. The 42 Chip Ganassi adding another ride for road course races because Chip Ganassi, of course, he's a pro in road course races and events. And Jeremy Mayfield running with the RC Cola scheme in road course races as well. Thought I had that too. And finally, for the super speedway races, You'll be surprised at some drivers I've decided to add for the super speedway races, Daytona, Talladega, and Coca-Cola. Bill Lester will be driving the number 29 car for those super speedway races. So Bill Lester is going to be driving for the team, and Mike Wallace will be driving the 33 car for Andy Petrie, also in super speedway events. As you can recall, he finished second to Dale Earnhardt in Daytona in 2001, so Wallace is hoping to finally get that victory in the super speedway with the Andy Petrie team in the number 33 in those super speedway races. And that's all I'm going to show you here in the 2002 roster. That's all the 2002 drivers in the set, and we're going to be running, and hope you'll enjoy the 2002 season. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun for me to do. And this is Pichu, and I'll see you guys later.